Good morning, everybody. So I just want to welcome everybody to our institutional planning and operations, facility departments, our ground services. We're everywhere. Our strategic conversation for today. We're going to talk about our grounds department and what we do for the university community. As Elizabeth said, my name is Patrick Harrity. I'm the director of grounds operations. So let's meet our team. On the New Brunswick Piscataway campuses, we have two assistant directors, one on both sides of the river is probably the best way of putting it. You have the river across it, and we have Bush Livingston on one side and Cook Douglas and College Avenue on the other side. Anthony Scrow is our assistant director on the New Brunswick side of the Raritan River. He takes care of the Rutgers grounds on College Avenue, Cook Douglas, and Rutgers buildings that are located in the city of New Brunswick. On the Piscataway side of the Raritan River, we have James Erdogdu. He's sitting right over there. He's our assistant director for the Rutgers grounds that's located on Bush, Livingston, Piscataway RBHS, and the Piscataway outlying areas. Under Anthony Scrow are our forepersons for Cook and Douglas campuses, Kevin Berry and Barry Bailey, who's off today. And then on the College Avenue campus under Tony, we have Michael O'Keefe, and we currently have an opening for our housing grounds area on the College Avenue campus. And this is Anthony Scrow on the New Brunswick side of our Raritan River. On the Piscataway side of the Raritan River, we have our forepersons under James, David Morrow for the Livingston campus, Pete Fuhrer for the housing Livingston campus, he's out today, Mark Nowakowski for the Bush housing campus, and Chris Wenzel for the Bush campus. On the newer campus, the day-to-day grounds operations is under Jim Campoli. He's campus manager north, and under him is Chris Camastra. He's the assistant director, and Juan Torres Morales is the grounds foreperson up in Newark. The Camden grounds operation for the day-to-day operations, Mike Fitzgerald, the associate director for the campus, and Robert Brandt is the area manager that the grounds operation falls under for Camden. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention the two gentlemen that we deal with all the time, and they're from our planning department, and that's Brian Clemson, who's our landscape architect for the university. We deal with Brian all the time, as it should be with the landscaping. And Seth Richter, he's the assistant director for planning, and he handles a lot of the storm management for the university that we get involved in very much in the university. So how much do we maintain? So you can see on the slides here that so you have pervious acres, which is your grasses, trees, shrubs, and all that. And we maintain 2,126.7 acres on the New Brunswick campus, over 10 acres on the Camden campus, and over 19 acres on the Newark campus. So that's a total of 2,156 total pervious acres on all the campuses. This is all stuff that, as grounds, that we take care of a lot of that that's outside of the hardscapes that are around. So if you back out the Echo Preserve and the Cook Farms, then our total is 1,263 pervious acres. And this includes the golf course. Now, the golf course is not under our grounds part. It's under business services and under Dave Haynes' area, and they handle the golf course. The golf course is maintained on their own. Athletic fields are maintained by the athletic department under Matt Colgiovanni, and our recreation fields are maintained by our grounds department. And it's under the purview of the recreation department for student affairs. So the impervious acres that we have on the campus, the walkways, roads, parking lots, etc. 389, almost 390 on New Brunswick Piscataway, 11.4 on the Camden campus, and 41.6 on the Newark campus, for a total of 442 impervious acres that are on all our campuses. So who do we deal with on a day-to-day basis? All right. So we're outside, so a lot of people probably think, oh, I probably don't deal with that many departments. We deal with departments all the time. Think about it. Every time you walk into your building or anything like that, all right, you're seeing things that might be a problem or something that you need to do, or if you're working on a project outside, now you're outside and you're working on you're on project inside, I'm sorry, and then on the outside now you got to do something with the equipment, people parking, any of the material that they have for this. So the departments that we deal with are university facilities. Obviously, we deal with them on all the time. Our business services area, they deal with our vehicles, our big vehicles. We have our small engines. Employee services, obviously, you know, we have to deal with our workers and employees all the time. Planning, development, and design. With Brian and Seth there, we have to deal with them all the time when they come in for anything that we have that is dealing with our landscape and areas. Public safety, our police. Just before 5 minutes, 10 minutes before I walked down here, I got a call from the police on a problem that we had to take care of right away on one of our roads. So we get calls from them all the time. REHS, we deal with them a lot on a lot of our safety issues to make sure that all the employees are safe. Strategic services, our AIM system, things like that, all the time we have to deal with them. Transportation services, we help maintain the parking lots, the roads, the bus stops. So transportation services we deal with all the time. Any problems that come in from the parking lots, they end up calling us for that. And the utilities department, as well. We deal with them all the time. They do a lot of outside work, so we end up dealing with them. So then in the student affairs area, dining services, the whole outside of dining services, Henry's Diner, areas like that. We deal with all with all the outside areas that they maintain outside, tables, stuff like that are under us. Student centers and the activities that they deal with, their events, everything else. A lot of that comes under us, especially on the outside. Recreational services, as I said earlier, the recreational services is, we deal in a lot of the fields and everything else that they have. We help maintain that. Residence life, our housing areas. A lot of our housing areas, first thing the parents see when they come onto campus, when they're dropping their children off for their first day of classes. So you end up seeing housing right away. So that's a big part. And the student activities business office, a lot of that is our events and things of that nature. Athletics department, so we deal a lot in a lot of their events that go on, football, basketball, things of that nature, and anything at the boathouse. So half of the boathouse is with the athletic department, and the other half of the Rutgers boathouse is with the recreation department. So we deal with both of them. And disability services, got to get anything with the ADA in and out, whether it's just marking ADA parking spots on the outside, or whether it's helping with putting ramps up on the outside of a building. So we deal with disability services. So another thing that we end up dealing a lot with is environmental, obviously. So there's a lot of that all around all our campuses. So we deal with a lot of different environmental regulations. The NJDEP initiatives and maintaining clean and safe roadways and lots. We help maintain and inspect with our utilities and REHS departments over 2,700 stormwater catch basins. This involves cleaning them, inspecting them, marking the drains as per our annual stormwater management program. We have a huge stormwater management program here at Rutgers. Stormwater basins are maintained. We're either mowing them, trimming them, or just cleaning up the litter on a day-to-day basis. You don't realize when you see them big areas with wildflowers, punks coming out of it and all different vegetation, you're looking like, well, what's that doing? All right, but they serve a purpose by collecting all the water from our buildings, surrounding areas, parking lots, to prevent flooding in the area. So our crews attend the annual Right to Know program given by REHS and maintain our chemical inventory required by the DEP. We sweep on a monthly basis all our roads per the DEP regulatory compliance, which is over 40 miles of roads. In fact, we also sweep our parking lots to help maintain a clean appearance around all our campuses. Our landscape technicians and our forepersons maintain a New Jersey pesticide license in order to safely and properly maintain the grounds in a pleasing manner. All our equipment operators and forepersons have a commercial driver's license that they maintain in order to operate any vehicle and equipment in our inventory that requires a commercial driver's license. Our crews attend conferences, trade shows, classes, and other professional events to keep up their licenses and current practices within the grounds landscaping industry. The landscape technicians, equipment operators, and forepersons all maintain the New Jersey commercial driver's license. It's not easy to maintain this license, as you need to be tested for drugs and have a physical taken regularly to determine that you're safe to drive a commercial vehicle. The pesticide license is required for our forepersons and landscape technicians in order to apply, maintain, and monitor proper procedures for pesticide applications. This requires them to attend various classes and conferences that give them credit towards maintaining and keeping their license. So we handle and assist on many construction projects and planning throughout the university. We partner with our landscape architect, Brian, and we're able to upgrade the landscaping around the university from donor-funded projects and capital improvement projects. These are all inclusive with helping our projects go smoothly, from installing Jersey barriers, putting up barricades, cleaning out an area, etc., before the project begins. So there are many events that are done throughout the year, and we're involved in one way or another with almost all the events, unless they're directly inside the student center, and even then sometimes we're involved in them. On a majority of all the events, we work on a regular basis with our IP&O facilities event team, which is led by Erin Rath. So Erin meets with our crews, schedules, and she has an itinerary for what is needed of each event. She's on top of all the events that are happening. So many of these events would not be possible without the work of all the IP&O departments, as it truly is a cooperating, efficient, and in the end gratifying way to accomplish so much, seeing how well all our departments work together on an event. So if you start thinking about all the events that go on, you don't realize how much the police are involved, planning's involved, grounds involved, custodial's involved, maintenance is involved. Everybody gets involved. I mean, one of the greatest accomplishments that we ever had in events that included all of IP&O. I don't think there was a person in IP&O that didn't get involved in some way or another, was the 2016 graduation ceremony that President Barack Obama gave the keynote address. To see everyone come together for such a massive event was truly inspiring and shows what this department can do. So here's some of the events that's listed up here that we have a major part in. Rutgers Day. Everybody comes here for Rutgers Day. We get thousands and thousands of people that come in here, especially on a really nice day. And grounds from days before, sometimes even weeks, are setting up this event, whether it's as small as putting up a small tent for somebody, finding fire extinguishers, moving people around in the golf carts to get from one area to another, or just having to mow certain grass in areas where we know a lot of people are going to walk. and even in putting in different areas of where people are going to walk to prevent the so-called cow path from going through. You see the lines where you could tell where everybody's walking. Well, we got to put mulch and stuff up in there, wood chips, just to prevent that from being a problem after the day is over. And then once the day is over, and while we're there, we're cleaning up. Constant trash everywhere. So we got to clean all that up, because when Monday morning comes around, we want the campus to look like nothing ever happened. So Rutgers Against Hunger events. We deal in a lot of their events where you'll see the blue boxes around all the different buildings. We pick them up, we move them around to wherever Rutgers Against Hunger needs them for a possible event, and we also pick them up and we'll even drop them off at whatever local charitable organization they would like it dropped off at. And then a big one that I think is a great event that we do every year is Adopt a Family. So everybody knows about that. Almost all of you here, I'm sure, are involved in some way or another with helping out with adopting a family every Christmas or around the winter holiday. So we go around, it's all set up through our Cook campus folks, and then we go around and we pick everything up from everybody. Everything that's set up, the gifts, the cards, everything. And then we help and deliver it and drop it off to these different areas where families in need can then actually enjoy the holidays during that time. Project Move Out for housing. All our housing guys are running around like crazy the week before, getting everything set up. And like I said, these are parents first coming onto this campus sometimes. And this is the first thing they see. They see the front of our housing buildings. So our housing buildings are all set up and ready for the, actually, I'm sorry, that's Project Move. That's when everybody's moving in. I'm looking at a different part. So when they move in, so everybody's set up to move into the housing building, and we end up pulling out the big carts and stuff that you might see where people bring them up and set them up and then help clean up around the whole area so the parents get a good feeling when they're dropping their kid off. Project Move Out. This is another huge project that we do with basically we do for the city of New Brunswick. So we have a lot of off-campus housing. In case you don't know, most of New Brunswick seems to be around Rutgers College Avenue campus it has a lot of off-campus housing. So what do we do for that? We set up our waste management crew and their dump trucks and all their garbage trucks, and then we set up a spot behind College Avenue Gym, and then we go around and we collect all the electronics, furniture, and everything else that otherwise might be left out on the road, and then everybody gets fined. So, because New Brunswick only has certain times when they collect, and then we in turn help collect from them and set everything up for them. So New Brunswick is not burdened with that big area. Football. Probably if you've been to a football game, you'll see our guys. They're the first guys you see when you pull into the parking lot. You're handing out all the garbage bags, clear garbage bags, so we can see what's in it. All right, so when you throw the garbage bags out and then you go into the game, and then all of a sudden you come out after halftime, hopefully after halftime, you come out and at that time, what's going on? The whole place is cleared. It's cleaned because the guys are going around constantly cleaning during that, especially during halftime or once everybody starts going in. We help with other stuff. We put up the bike racks that run along for the buses. So you see them when you go into the game and you're wondering how the heck did they get the bike racks all the way up the whole way up Scarlet Knight Way, and then you'll look and you'll see, and then the buses have to go around, and it prevents any accidents from happening between the buses and all the pedestrians going in and out of the football game. Graduation, another big event that we are involved in. We're involved with helping set up with Aaron Ratt's group, help set up the whole inside of the stadium and the outside cleaning up as well. Convocations. There's convocations on every campus. So all of our crews on all the campuses, we have to help with every one of those convocations, whether it's just a setup, cleanup, or just taking care of whatever needs to be done for that different convocation. All the convocations are different. Rack events on the outside, we help maintain the big commuter lot over by the rack. So we're usually out there, especially if it's snowing or icy out, then we're out there going around and cleaning up and maintaining the sidewalks, and again, going through the parking lots to make sure that everything's cleaned up. And then, as I talked about before, the housing student move-in, which is a huge thing for us. And there's a lot of other smaller events that we're involved in. So when you're here for an event, you'd be surprised how you'll see our custodial and grounds department really working together on a lot of these events. So one of the big things that we had to deal with a couple of years back was during our 250th was the Rutgers Revolutionary Monument, which was a gift from Johnson & Johnson. So we helped review the design. We took a trip to Philadelphia to see the building of it, to see how we're going to move this thing around campus. So when it finally did show up, we assisted with the unloading of it, and then we drove it around the campus as while it was covered. We literally stuck that thing on the back of a trailer, and I believe we used my truck the whole time and drove it around to all the different campuses so that everybody could wonder what was underneath the big tarp. And then we placed it on Old Queens campus, had it all set up for the 250th event and the unveiling. And then after that, we drove it around to all the campuses, and that's probably when you really started seeing things going. You can see the one picture on the bottom left is from Trenton. Actually got driven down to Trenton and unloaded on the front when they had Rutgers Day at the State House. So I feel that that was such a great event that we did, and then what ended up happening was if you took selfies with it, it helped with J&J putting in scholarships for different students around the campus. So then we set it up and did the concrete and everything and the landscaping around it where the final resting place was, which is on your bottom right, which is in the front of the visitor center. So if you want to go see the Revolutionary Monument, if you go by there, a lot of times you'll see students that are coming here and thinking about Rutgers, they will stop there and they will take a lot of pictures just on that Revolutionary Monument, all sitting around different areas of it. Sculptures. Did you know that Rutgers has over 45 sculptures on the grounds here at Rutgers? We have over 45 sculptures. It will amaze you that you would not think of where the sculptures are as you're walking around. So in our case, we handle the daily cleaning around them sculptures and the maintenance of the grounds around them. We're not allowed to touch or repair the sculptures because the artist either has to handle the repairs of the sculpture or allow you to do a repair on it. But it's amazing how many sculptures and how many really nice sculptures are around the campus. And so in charge of them basically is the Plaques, Monuments, and Major Markers and Arts Committee that's headed by Frank Wong. And they're in charge of and they oversee all the sculptures around the campus. So if you want to put a sculpture up around the campus, you have to go through this committee. And we're represented on this committee, grounds, because we can help in trying to determine a best area for a sculpture depending on what it's going to, unless it's in front of a new building because then it's already designated for that building. So we're represented on that committee. I'm a member of it. So, and if you want to really see all the beautiful sculptures around our campus, a graduate student of Rutgers, she took the time to research and has a website for the sculptures, and it can be found up there on the top of the page there. So if you're interested in it, I suggest you check out that website. It really is amazing at how many sculptures that we have and how many really nice sculptures we have as well. Trees. You can see all the different trees that we have around here. And much of our time is spent dealing with the trees around the campuses, whether it's cleaning up after a big storm, picking up leaves, pruning the low branches, treating the elms, taking down dead trees for safety, planting new trees, trying to maintain the grounds underneath them, researching the disease that a tree may have, etc. Trees are something that we have to deal with on a daily basis in grounds. And Rutgers has some of the most magnificent, oldest, colorful, rarest, and beautiful trees that you'll ever see. We try to maintain and treat the trees to the best that we can. Sadly, they may fall to various diseases related to their make. Leaf scorch, Dutch elm disease, emerald ash borer, etc. And usually as we start to take down trees, which is mostly for safety, because obviously if they become too dead, we don't want them falling. And then we start to look at different areas with Brian as far as trying to plant all the different trees off the ones that we had knocked down. Outdoor furniture. A lot of people don't realize that. You see all the outdoor furniture around our campuses. We maintain that outdoor furniture. But we have standards for our outdoor furniture. A lot of people don't realize that. And it can evolve. It doesn't have to be exact ones, but one thing that we want is that we like our outdoor furniture. It needs to be strong, sturdy, low maintenance, and our tables need to be in one piece, as this prevents us from having to lock parts, take away parts of the furniture to prevent theft, vandalism, and storm breakages. Any fancy furniture that you might see around that is basically furniture that's separated, has umbrellas on it, they may be controlled then by the local department. Let's say at the student centers, you might see them. They're controlled by that local department because we can't leave the umbrellas out. So a lot of people want the umbrellas out in the afternoon, especially when the sun's out, but if it's late in the afternoon, we're already gone. We can't leave the umbrella out. Somebody needs to take it in. Unfortunately, in certain areas of the campus, if the chairs are left out, they could blow away in a bad storm, or there could be some vandalism to them. So any of that furniture of that nature is controlled by our local departments. You can see on the picture some of how our tables are all one piece. That's with the chairs already in with them. And then you also see the trash cans that are there. We maintain the trash cans. And we pick them up and everything else, all the garbage out of them, on a daily basis. But one of the things that we do is we're starting to get some wireless monitored trash cans on our campuses. So let's say over here we'll use 33 Knightbridge as an example. So we have a couple of trash cans over here on 33 Knightbridge on the outside. So now our group doesn't have to come over here all the time just to empty the garbage. We'll get an alert on our an email alert on the computer about the trash can being filled, and then we could send somebody over there and have them take care of it. And also, illegal dumping. If somebody's taking stuff and throwing bags of garbage in there in one night, so we know, okay, we just cleaned that garbage can out yesterday, and now the next day it's already full, we can go in there and examine it and call the police or whatever if we need to, if there's any illegal dumping going on. Roads, parking lots, and paths of travel. So as I said before, we have over 40 miles of roads that we maintain on the New Brunswick-Piscataway campus. So on the College Avenue, Camden, and Newark campus, there isn't as many roads because they're in the city proper, and all their roads are mostly maintained by the city. So which means that we are in constant communication with them when we see problems on the city roads that surround our campuses. We're helping our university community to make sure that not only our areas are maintained safely, but that the city's aware that we know about different areas that need to be taken care of. So we try to keep a good rapport with these cities, especially during snowstorms. Recently, during the reconfiguration of College Avenue, if you've been over there, you notice now that we have bus lanes and bike lanes over there. on both sides of the College Avenue. One side has a double bike lane and the other side has a bus lane. So now we maintain that part of College Avenue for the city. Pedestrian crossing on many of our roads and the city roads are upgraded and maintained by us. This helps with providing safe passage for our pedestrians and bicyclists around the campuses. So we work hand in hand with our parking and transportation department to maintain the parking lots and parking decks around all the campuses. Although not required by law, we run the sweepers through the parking lots in order to maintain a clean and safe parking area. And the decks are checked for garbage daily and cleaned thoroughly throughout the year. Newark campus has a majority of the decks. So they have to really maintain and go through their decks on a regular basis. With our maintenance department, we maintain the parking security gates for safe passage in and out of our restricted lots. Bus shelters, pedestrian bridges, walkways, and all paths of travel are maintained for safe and secure walking campuses. We meet regularly with the Office of Disability Services to review and upgrade paths of travel so that all of our students, faculty, and staff can arrive to their destinations safely. Now comes the fun one, snow and ice. So probably one of the most daunting tasks we have in grounds on all the campuses is to clean, clear, de-ice, plow, shovel, broom, push, pile, everything on that darn snow. Grounds, custodial, utilities, and our contractors are relied upon to keep our campuses open safe during the most adverse of conditions. In Newark, we have to maintain the university hospital that can never close, and it's always open. So how is all this possible? All right, it starts now. I'm currently in the process of getting our bid scope for an RFP to choose our snow plowing contractors. Here it is, the end of July, and we're already thinking snow. And that'll last for the next few years. Camden and Newark have done theirs in the last couple years for their snow plow contractors that we're using. We've started ordering replacement equipment for the snow and replacing old worn out equipment that is beyond repair for all our snow equipment that we're using. Replacement vehicles are coming in from our business services department, and the lights and plows are being installed on the vehicles now. All of our snow equipment will be inspected and tested the next few months for proper operation, and replacement parts will be ordered to have on hand during the off hours of the snow. By the end of August, we'll order what we have is a magic salt for our campus's roads. It's an environmentally friendly coated salt that does not harm the plants, concrete, and asphalt. The de-icer we use for the walkways and patios will be ordered by our business services warehouse and is stored in bags for use by our custodial and ground staff, and they'll have that ordered by October. How does all this lay out so then once the winter approaches? On a daily basis, we monitor the roads, parking lots, and walkways for ice buildup and de-ice where necessary. On the days leading up to a snowstorm, there's a lot of preparation and communication between upper administration, facilities, and our emergency management department. We monitor the upcoming extreme weather and decide how to best approach it before it hits. Times for all our staff and contractors are decided on in order to ensure that everyone can arrive safely and then be ahead of the storm as it starts to stick. Communications go out to the Rutgers community, and depending upon the size of the storm, decisions are made on the proper closing and opening of the university. Even though New Jersey is not a big state, our three campuses, New Brunswick, Camden, and Newark, can have amazingly different weather. This all is communicated among the departments. One thing to keep in mind as the storm is upon us is that we have a large commuter base, and decisions have to be made by not only the well-being of our on-campus students and faculty, but the surrounding communities and how they are dealing with the snow. Once the snow starts to arrive, all hands are on deck. Our crews and contractors are set to work. Some roadways, walkways, and commuter lots have a pre-treatment in order for the snow to hold off on sticking to the surface, and then it's easier to plow off the surfaces. You've probably seen this stuff on your local roads or on the highways. You see 4 or 5 stripes going down the middle of the road. You probably, like a couple days before a storm, you're probably like, what the heck is that? Well, that's the pre-treatment that we put on the roads. Communication, though, is paramount during a snowstorm. We are constantly in contact with our crews, our contractors, our custodial staff, and our public safety groups. Once the snow reaches above 2 to 3 inches, then we establish a snow call center where someone is able to receive calls on snow-related problems and send the information to the proper crew handling that area. It's important to deal with the emergency as soon as possible so it doesn't affect the safety and security of the university. In real bad, heavy storms, it's important to be able to keep open the fire lanes, especially around our housing areas and the roadways for our buses. We're in contact with John Caragulo during the storm to give him updates and for him to tell us if there are any problem areas for the buses as they're going around the different paths of travel around the university. As the storm progresses, we're in constant communication with upper administration and public safety in order to decide what the university's operational status will be. All of us have to communicate during this whole time. If it's overnight, 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, the communication has to be there in any of these big storms. Discussions with Newark and Camden are constant in order to make sure that all the campuses are on the same page with the communication so it can be consistent. So what happens is the storm gets worse and is now going on for many hours. We end up monitoring the crews that are on campus and decide times, strategies that they can have rest periods. Or we also contact dining services for meals for the crews on snow duty. We can't have the crews attempting to try to leave in the middle of a bad storm. We have to keep them here on campus. So our dining services works together with us and getting our on-campus folks all fed. So we can't have them trying to get out on the roads or trying to return home at that point in time until everything is all cleared up. We've had in the past during extreme weather had to set up cots so that our crews can take rest if we know we're going to be here sometimes for days while we're trying to clear out everything from the storm. During the storm, our vehicles and equipment, they take a beating. They're constantly being used and are tasked with moving heavy piles of snow. Breakage does happen during storms. During the storm, our small engine mechanics and auto mechanics are essential to keep things running. They are called upon to repair the plows, salters, vehicles, small equipment, and pull out stuck equipment and vehicles around the campuses. As the snow begins to wind down and a time frame is established for when the roads and lots must be ready for the return of the university community, then all snow personnel perform that final push to try and get every road, parking stall, building, walkway, bus stop, and bridge open and safely usable. De-icing operations are used to ensure that the icy areas get cleared because we all know that when the snow melts during the day, it freezes to ice during the cold weather, especially at night. So how much salt, magic salt, do we use during the season? We use over 2,500 tons a year, depending upon the type of ice conditions. Back in 2018, during that tough stretch there, we used over 4,000 tons of ice, magic salt during that season. Trying to maintain a safe, drivable, and walking campus is not an easy task, but the snow operations staff that we have are the best. I could tell you that when I drive around, even when I leave, after we're all done and everything's all cleaned up, and I'll drive into it and I'll see some of the local roads and walkways and everything else, and they're still all snow covered. And I know our roads are all cleared and our walkways are all cleared. So Once the snow is over, we then have to check all the fire hydrants, fire exits, loading docks, and any buildings for any snow pile obstructions. Tops of parking decks are checked, as we cannot pile snow along the sides for structural integrity, and obviously we can't drop it over the side. That could be disastrous. So what do? We examine many ways to remove or melt the snow from the top of the deck. The best way is to close off the top and let it melt. Equipment and vehicles are inspected after the storm, and then we get them ready for the next one, and we start the process all over again. And then the only thing is, we try to hope for spring. So what does the future hold for our grounds department? As climate change continues and the weather patterns become more unpredictable, we'll need to become more sustainable by creating more areas to receive water and runoff, maintaining our trees to ensure the safety of them and us, more involved with our planning and design departments, and making sure that all our outside projects follow best practices. We need to allow all our workers to learn the best landscaping practice by having classes that are taught from Rutgers faculty and the best teachers in the industry. We need to look more at new efficient equipment, such as battery-operated weed whackers, mowers, leaf blowers. We have been incorporating them right now into our inventory. As the industry evolves, we must evolve with it in order to maintain a pleasing and welcoming environment for everyone that comes to and visits Rutgers University. We're grounds, we're everywhere. And remember, the grounds are the first thing that people see when they step onto our university. So as the grounds are where we are located in all our different cities and everywhere else, anybody coming onto this campus, whether it's just to bring a student or to come in for a conference, has to see when they drive by, when they're walking by, a real pleasing and even fun areas that they might say, hey, I want to send my kid here, or boy, I'd like to have my son or daughter come into this area and go to this university. I thank you for presentation. Hope you enjoyed it. And if anybody has any questions? No? All good? I did that well? No way. Yeah? All right. So I hope you enjoy it. And if you have anything, looking at everybody in this crowd, I think you all know who I am, so you can just email me or call me, and that's it. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.